Today I'm going to be painting with water mixable oil paints. Now I've been learning how to use these paints working in smaller size canvases. I had done an acrylic painting of some cups on a black background using some dry brush techniques. And I thought, I wonder if water mixable oils can do that kind of look. Because they blend so well, I didn't know whether it would be possible to do that. Anyways, I'm going to try that today in a smaller version of that painting using water mixable oil paints. I started by painting a 12 by 12 canvas with a thick coat of black acrylic paint, making sure I left brush strokes in various directions to create texture. I let that dry overnight, and then I used a chalk pencil to sketch on the cups. I painted the background over again using a mixture of French ultramarine and raw umber, making the mixture lighter as I blended the background. This was an attempt to create a dry brush technique, which I found is much more difficult in oil paints than it is in acrylics. For the bottom cup, I blocked in the colors using French ultramarine as the dark blue, phthalo blue red shade for the medium, and using zinc white to create different shades. But I wasn't happy with the way the blue cup was going, and I started to overblend, so I stopped and moved on to the next cup. For this cup, I decided to brighten things up and go with a pink color, so I used mostly permanent rose, and then I also used permanent alizarin crimson. And again, I used zinc white as a mixing white. And when I wanted to add more shadow, I took a little bit of the French ultramarine off of the palette and blended that in as well. At this point, I was finding the shape of this round cup much easier to paint than the taller blue cup. I was kind of wishing that I'd done a stack of maybe 3 of this cup instead of choosing to do a tall one and a short one. I think it was just easier on the round shape to keep all the different brush strokes showing to create a more painterly look. And I was blending too much on the taller mug, so I was going to have to fix that later. Using a mixture of the reds and the blues that were already on the palette, I decided to go with a purple shade, combining the colors of the 2 cups, and use that for the table. I needed to brighten things up and separate the cups from the table, so I used a phthalo green blue shade mixed with white and created a turquoise for the saucer. I wasn't happy about how dark the background still was, but I added the reflective colors of the cups onto the back wall and waited to see how that went. To shade the saucer, I just pulled in some of the background color that was already on my palette. For the highlights, I switched from the zinc white to the titanium white. The titanium white is more opaque. The zinc white is more transparent and is commonly used as a mixing white. Okay, so here's the verdict. The water mixable oils are beautiful for blending in the colors on the cups and the background and working where you don't have to worry about the paint drying too fast. However, when you're trying to do something that is a layer on top of another layer or a dry brush technique, it doesn't really work because it keeps blending. The background was still too dark, making the cups appear too bright and not giving them a place to be grounded. So I had to leave it about a week until it surface dried a little, and then I went back and I lightened the background, and in order to get that dry brush technique, I actually used a palette knife and did little hash marks, and that blended the background around the cups with the more textured background. I think it turned out all right. You can support my channel by subscribing so YouTube will share my videos with more people. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you ring that bell, you'll be notified every time I post a video. Thank you for watching.